Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Robbie Preller with us. He recently graduated from Salisbury University. He currently works in D.C. at the Washington Navy Yard doing DOD contracting. So welcome to the show, Robbie.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Thanks for joining us. We'll dive in. The first question that I have for you, Robbie, is what's the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Since I just got out of college, I'd say it probably was around college. So I started out, I was going to do the four-year program, do accounting. After, the third year, I realized it just wasn't really my cup of tea. And I switched to something that was my cup of tea, and I was a lot happier. And I actually excelled at the ITIS background stuff. So I think the most valuable lesson there is do something you actually enjoy. Obviously, you look to see if there's a market for it, but it just taught me that if you don't enjoy it, you're probably not going to be successful at it.
Yes, I agree, man, so much. I actually started out as an accounting major too, and then I dropped out and started my own business.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, totally, man. And what's the most valuable piece of information that we should know that is within your expertise or industry?
Oh God. So for in the government, things are they move slowly. That's just a rumor that actually happens. Security is our highest priority. We have certain documents that we can't scan because if they're uploaded for any reason, it's like a breach. So security is the top priority always. And then for me, just because I'm on the lower end, I like to be polite, persistent, but professional in everything I do. So I think that's some pretty good advice for people who are just kind of starting out or
totally
getting their feet on the ground.
And what's your best piece of overall business advice, or not necessarily industry specific?
Well, it's what my dad told me the other day is have fun, tell the truth, and don't be a dick or be a good guy.
I like it.
Depends how you want to say it.
And I know that you are just getting out of school, but if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I think it definitely goes hand in hand with do something that you enjoy, but you can't really sweat the small stuff. I've been looking back on some stuff that happened to me, and I'm like, wow, that was I guess I'd say overreacted, but it's that was not that big of a deal. And now here I am.
And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
For me, it's a balanced life. It kills me just sitting at a desk every day because I'm have so much energy. So if I had a lifestyle where I could be at work, which I get, work is work. If it's fulfilling for you, and then afterwards you can do things that you want to do, have that freedom to not be working 9 to 10 like some people do or whatever. But have flexibility is really important. Have a strong base with family and friends, and then be healthy. And if you're healthy, usually you're happier. So it could work. Good work-life balance, good friends, family, and being healthy, I would say.
And what's the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
I want to say it was a while ago, but there was a lot of stuff, so I can't remember all it. But it's called Originals: How Nonconformists Move the World. I recommend. It's a really easy read, and the chapters are kind of short, so I would recommend it to anybody. It talked about some really interesting stuff about just business in general. One of the things I remember is, in order to really be successful, you have to have you can't have people with the same background. So what this company did was they kind of tried to hire people from literally every background, like teaching lawyers to doctors. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say like that they were only hiring lawyers or doctors or anything, but they got people from different backgrounds, and they said that boosted their overall productivity and everything. So I think that's important. Is you can't just have people who think the same way you do, otherwise you're just gonna get running around the whole time. But I would recommend the book.
And what's your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is from the Champions Creed. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. For life's wins, how's it go? If you don't think you'll win, it's almost a sense that you won't. Basically, it's you gotta think that you can win or know that you can win. But it took me through some tough times. Like even with your backs against the wall, like you gotta believe in yourself. Otherwise, no one else will. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. The last question I have for you before we let you go is, where's the best place for people to find you online?
I'd say LinkedIn. Pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it's under Robert Preller. Is my profile, but yeah.
Perfect, man. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.